Prasad. Thank you for being here. So, as we have recently launched our EV path, we would like to share the expertise and knowledge that we have from people like you and our own instructor Raju. So, would you like to introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Vijay. Thank you for the opportunity and thanks to the effort that you and Raju have been making. So I'm Prasad. I am a graduate from IIT Madras. I'm a chemical engineer from IIT Madras, and I also finished my MBA from ISB from the class of 2010. Um, I have worked in varied industries, ranging from petroleum refining to FMCG in HUL to right now I'm a renewable energy professional for the last 12 years. Ever since I passed out, I have been in the renewable energy sector, developing projects, financing projects across multiple countries in the Asia Pacific region. I personally also have the experience of guiding students, aspiring MBA students into applying for MBA colleges across the world. And I have had the experience of reviewing their applications inside out and more or less helping students in writing their SOPs or essays, and also guiding them on how to choose recommenders and what to kind of stress the recommenders to help them on, specifically on how to answer the questions that they might get, to essentially successfully getting students across multiple countries in international MBA programs. So that has been my experience over the last several years.
Okay. That looks very interesting. I think you have a broad range of knowledge about the whole MBA process itself, because you yourself personally have gone through and also you have helped a lot many students across the globe. So I think you're the right person to address some of the common mistakes that usually MBA students or else aspiring students, while they are trying to apply to some of the great colleges around the globe, they usually have a common sort of mistakes, I think, which usually puts them off the list immediately. So probably I think many of us know, like essays or else something, it should stand out. But how would we know that, I mean, like whatever we are writing is common across students, or else I mean, just for the sake of making it stand out, we can't write something else, right? So this is one type of common issue that students face, and also there might be a lot many from your observation. So I think it would be great to understand if you can highlight some of them so that our students can benefit from it.
Yeah, sure. So one of the most important things in writing essays for the colleges, or SOPs as you may call them, is to really understand what the essay is actually asking you to answer. And more often than not, I have observed that students or aspiring MBA students, they don't really measure the entire, or kind of summarize the entire experience they have very effectively. So many times what happens is they just miss out on very critical aspects. Simple things, they think it is simple, but really sometimes some of the achievements they have had, for example, may not be very simple. Like it could be, I have seen, for example, students missing out on, like, for example, helping one of the team members to essentially come out of a low performance situation to a really becoming a high performer. That's a big achievement. It's a part of the job, for example, that they do. Right? It could be like their own reportee, or it could be someone else whom they have volunteered for, or some of the experiences on coaching students, for example, or coaching colleagues, for fresh MBA aspirants, for example, who are just out of undergraduate college. It might be important to highlight some of the experiences they have had coaching their own co-classmates, or for that matter, coaching, let's say, someone in a sport, or it could be anything, right? We think it is just a normal course of our life, But what we have to bring out is how we are distinct and how we are committed to a certain cause. It can be any cause, right? So what does MBA mean? What is MBA really resulting in? It's resulting in leaders uh, who can actually lead organizations or lead companies from, let's say, entering into a new segment, or entering into a new geography, or entering into totally uncharted territories, right? It could be anything,
Yes.
right? Launching a new product, launching like into a new country, building a new team. So what does all of that require? It requires some level of enterprising nature, right? In the
Yes.
sense, nobody knows how it's going to work out, but you
Yeah.
have to chart out your own path, and you basically have to come out of it. You have to kind of jump into those uncharted territories or waters, and then you have to kind of go through that process. So what is it that the MBAs or the colleges are looking for? Some instance where you have shown that level of enterprising nature within you, or entrepreneurship within you. Entrepreneurship is too big a word, but just like being committed to a cause and really kind of pushing through that cause to see to the results or end, right? And you might be facing a lot of challenges in the whole process, right? Something that you think may work out or may not work out. So how are you kind of adapting yourself to that situation where results not favorable to you, right? As you expected, or the method that you wanted to employ is not working out. So these
Yes.
are all the things. From the simplest of examples in our daily life, we can actually bring out those leadership qualities. So one of the biggest challenges that I personally faced when I was doing my own applications way back,
Okay.
and I was fortunate enough to have someone else, some friends' guidance that you have so much of value or experience that you have. Why are you not bringing out effectively in your application, right? So that is the most important thing. Identifying, it could be very simple things. I did this in my life. I did this in my job. I did this in my personal life. I did this in my extracurricular activities. Just list out all those things first before you start, and then quantifying the effects of what has happened, right, over time, right, with the cause that you have tried to work for or work towards. That is the most important thing also that needs to kind of go into these applications or essays. So I have seen unilaterally across, of course, there are some exceptions where candidates are very focused on what they want to do and how they write, which is great. But I can say more than 70-80% of the applicants are not really well aware of how these things work, specifically in this geography in Asia Pacific region, right?
Yes.
So so we are totally different in our education system. Probably it is that for that reason that we don't have that inclination or understanding of how the application process works in Western countries, for example. So that is, I think, a biggest shortcoming in the way we are kind of we have grown up, for example. But that doesn't need to be like that. As in, we are experienced, we can actually guide applicants into really focusing on what changes they have made in their life, what changes they have made in other people's lives, how they have led even smallest, like even for example, in one case I have seen a candidate set up a music band, right? A music band is like, it's a hobby, right?
Yes.
But person had set up music band and they had a follow through or following a good following within a city. But he was not highlighting that in his essays anywhere,
Oh,
right? So that's like a big loss, right? So these are the
yeah.
things. So the most important thing is to really understand the candidate inside out, what their passions are, what their hobbies are, what their education background has been, how they have helped. It could be someone in the family, for example, right? It could be anything. It's a range of things
Yes.
that you could bring out those qualities from. So that is the biggest thing that I have seen where candidates actually lack.
Yes.
Just they don't make an entire overall picture of themselves. Probably because they are like too involved in doing certain things, and they
Yes.
probably don't place too much importance on those. So
Yeah.
again, I'll stop here. I have given a big spiel right now. So
Yeah,
move
actually,
on.
I think this was, I can correlate with this. Reason being is I too am in the process of applying to colleges. So when you say specifically Asia Pacific students, what I understand is common is basically, I think, right from our childhood, when we go through the schooling and everything, I think the only thing that we are focused on, or we are said that it's good, or only when we are appreciated, is basically if at all we get into a top college, or else you rank first, these are the only things, right?
Good
So
grades. Yeah,
yeah,
good
good
grades
grades,
always. Yeah,
nothing else is
yeah.
appreciated. So
Nothing
we
else is
can't,
appreciated.
we
Yeah,
can't even think of other things which we can put in, because we are tuned in that way
correct,
that only if you
correct,
study and if you are first in school, and we are even forced to do only those things, right, from
correct.
our childhood until our graduation. So
Yes.
probably we are thinking in a narrower way because we were forced to think in that way. So now I
Hmm.
think there are a lot many things which we can highlight. Probably it might seem small to us because we were
Correct.
grown up like that, saying that playing
Yes.
cricket and playing for a state level might seem a small thing for us, because we don't get much opportunity, or it's not a great thing because our parents told us you won't achieve anything doing that, or probably like you said, the music band as well, right? So
Right.
it seems a small thing for us, but basically it's not that easy. Only people who have done that would know how big it is.